This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
New tonight, a man is charged with violent assaults in the Central West End, and police say it's not the first time he's attacked random people. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush, and Allred has the night off. The latest attack happened Sunday morning in the Central West End. An elderly woman and a baby are among the victims. That's where 5 on your side's Diamond Palmer is live with the latest. Diamond?
Well, Mike, police say it's not the first time that Anthony McGee has done something like this. And the 19-year-old has targeted people in Forest Park, Clayton, and now the Central West End. And I spoke to residents earlier who say they want to see more of a police presence. Others are calling for more resources for young people. Police say at 8:30 Sunday morning at the corner of West Pine and Euclid, 19-year-old Anthony McGee hit a woman in the head with a glass bottle. Shortly after, he assaulted a young couple and tried to kidnap their 1-year-old child. During a struggle to get her child back, the mother's neck and ear were injured. An 82-year-old woman was the last victim. Police say McGee choked her and broke both of her arms. Alexander Erpelding drives for Uber Eats in the Central West End and calls the weekend assaults shocking.
I think the Central West End is kind of struggling right now, but we can get past that.
Police say it's not the first time McGee's done something like this. 2 weeks ago, police say he punched a woman on the sidewalk in Clayton. And in September, he was accused of spitting on a student. Lydia Franta works in the Central West End. She says it's not the first time she's heard of something like this happening.
It's always been an issue in this area. I just make sure to stay on the busy streets and don't venture too far on the side streets.
Drew Falvey, who lives here, says he wants to see more police patrolling the Central West End.
Car break-ins is the first step. Next thing you know, someone's getting assaulted, someone might get shot.
Falvey has this message for St. Louis Metropolitan Police.
Without your help, we're just stuck in a violent cycle that will never end.
Now, McGee is facing 9 counts of assault. Those are a combination of felonies and misdemeanors. Live here in the Central West End, Diamond Palmer, 5 on your side.
Now to a live look at Busch Stadium. The sun setting on a cold day, and we are in for an even colder night. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with our Weather First forecast. Scott?
Yeah, quite the turn from where we were Friday. And over the weekend, we had the rain, we had the chilly temperatures yesterday, holding in the mid-40s. We were in the mid-40s today with a few clouds. Those clouds breaking up, thinning out now. The sky becoming mainly clear, but a cold night is on the way for St. Louis. In fact, let's just say it, it's cold right now. Temperatures for many of us in the mid to upper 30s. Looking north and west of St. Louis, it's only about 35 in Warrenton, 36 back at Rolla, but off to the east, it's closer to 40, Sparta over to Mount Vernon. Tonight, though, everybody's going back into the 20s. Last night, most of the 20s were farther north and west of St. Louis, but everybody's there tonight. That means we have a hard freeze tomorrow morning and a freeze warning in effect for areas from Metro St. Louis east and southeast. This is ending the growing season, so bring those potted plants inside if you haven't already, and don't forget to drain and disconnect that garden hose before it gets below freezing this evening. It will be a hard freeze tomorrow morning down into the 20s. More on the trick-or-treat forecast in a few minutes.
Tonight, there's a tentative deal between the United Auto Workers and General Motors. This means a 6-week strike could be coming to an end, and union members will be heading back to work in Wentzville. Our Justina Cornell spoke to the members on the picket line today, and she joins us live from the GM plant. Justina.
Yeah, Mike, so those union members were in this cold weather on that picket line all day, but just an hour ago, they packed up their belongings and headed back to Union Hall.
Wentzville calls itself the crossroads of the nation. And the statement couldn't be more true after one of its biggest employers has been at a crossroads. For 6 weeks, UAW Local 2250 has been on strike against General Motors.
We just want it fair across the board.
Union member Tony Franklin has been out there every day after dedicating more than a decade to GM.
In 2008, the CEOs came to the UAW and asked us to make concessions to keep the companies afloat. We did. We were told that by making those concessions further down the line, we would get a lot of things that we gave up, that we would get it back. We're just fighting to get it back.
A tentative agreement with GM brings some warmth to Franklin on this cold day. The deal includes several benefits, including 25% general pay raises and cost of living adjustments. Combined, they bring the wage increase to over 30% over the life of the contract. Duke's barbecue owner Peter Venecia also tried to comfort crews, bringing food from the cook line to the picket line.
We fed each shift, all 3 shifts, each week for 3 weeks.
He explains he's excited to see business make a comeback.
The sub-suppliers, we haven't seen them for a few weeks because they've all been off, So now that they're ramped up, I imagine we'll start getting people from those companies order from us each week.
Now members wait for the green light to return to work. Before heading back, they drive home this message.
All we're doing is just trying to get the American dream and trying to get fair wages for everyone.
The union members say that they expect to learn their return date back to work and then vote on this deal. This new contract will last just over 4 years. Reporting in Wentzville, Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
Some big campaign news broke today. Wesley Bell is dropping his bid for the U.S. Senate to challenge Congresswoman Cori Bush. Instead, our political editor Mark Maxwell has more on Bell's jump into the House race. Mark?
Mike, Wesley Bell's big announcement caught Cori Bush's campaign off guard and presents a significant challenge to her bid for a 3rd term on Capitol Hill. He got out to a 5-month head start under the guise of a Senate campaign that allowed him to raise federal funds before steering those resources into a House race on his home turf.
In politics, plans can change in a hurry. For Wesley Bell's team, that meant a homemade makeover for his campaign yard signs.
I'm formally withdrawing as a candidate for the U.S. Senate.
Instead, the St. Louis County prosecutor, who forged his path to power in the aftermath of the Ferguson uprising, trained his sights on a seat in Congress.
We need leadership that will stand with the president, that will stand with our allies.
Bell challenged Congresswoman Cori Bush for voting against key pieces of President Biden's agenda.
The infrastructure bill is an example of that.
The bipartisan infrastructure bill is a bill that I worked with, that I championed from the very beginning.
But when it reached her desk, she voted against it. And online, she called for a ceasefire in Gaza, accusing Israel of waging an ethnic cleansing campaign and calling on the Pentagon to stop funding these atrocities.
Are you comfortable with the Israeli military's airstrikes and invasion of Gaza, or would you condition aid to Israel on them altering their behavior?
I think we have to stand with our allies, and Israel's always been an ally, but we always want to keep the door open for a 2-state solution. But there has to be, but we cannot give aid and comfort to terrorist organizations. And Hamas is a terrorist organization, and Israel has the right to defend themselves.
In a statement, Bush's campaign manager called Bell's bid disheartening. In his launch, he called her past rhetoric defeating.
That defund the police, it not only was misguided, but it hurt Democrats. It gave Republicans the red meat they needed, and many believe that it contributed to why Democrats lost the House of Representatives in the midterms.
The race is already off to a hot start on day 1 of this matchup and could get more crowded still. Many political observers watching State Senator Brian Williams, another Democrat who lives in the district and someone who caught some attention when he was critical of Congresswoman Bush's stance on that conflict in Israel in recent days. We have more of our coverage on this primary race up on KSDK.com right now.
Coming up, 2 local men arrested for the January 6th attack on the Capitol, the pictures that led to their capture. Plus, a deadly confrontation in a Webster Groves parking lot leads police to a crime ring.